Hey guys, what's up? So today is the deck profile of the decks that I use in the random replays or the most recent one. And I don't really know if I'm going to be doing this for like future random replays. It's just that these decks, I don't know, they've been around for a while. I'm sure that most of you have at least played against or heard of these decks, and they were all relevant at one point, one point or another. So I just wanted to give them a try and see what I could do with them. And yeah, I guess I'll talk more about each deck as I get into them, so we'll just get started here. So first up we have Dragunity, and they're going to be in the order that they showed up in the showcase. I'll put like timestamps if you want to see X-Sabers or Dark Worlds or whatever. So first up Dragunity, we have 1 Red Eyes, 1 Tempest, 1 Mistleton, 2 Garuda, 1 Zephyros, 3 Ducks, 1 Legionnaire, 1 Atlas, and 3 Phalanx. Phalanx and Ducks, I mean, it's Dragunities, you can't really, well, you could play without, or you could play without 3 of each, but I don't know why you would. It would be very hard to do, especially with Ravine gone. Because I know that with Ravine, some people play 2 Phalanx, but that's not really for this video. The 1 Legionnaire I like because it's good for late game. It also combos amazingly with Atlas. Legionnaire, you get to send one equipped Dragunity monster to your graveyard to destroy a face-up card on the field. Select 1 face-up monster, okay, and then when Atlas is sent to the graveyard, while it's equipped, you get to destroy something on the field, so obviously those go well together. Also with like Legionnaire, like let's say you're late in the game, you have Legionnaire in your hand and a Mistleton in your hand. You could summon Legionnaire, equip one of these 2 guys to Legionnaire, use Legionnaire's effect to destroy a monster, and then just tribute it to special summon Mistleton and just kind of go from there into one of your level 8s. So it just works well with the deck, and I like it. Some people don't really play it, but you know, that's their choice. 1 Zephyros, just an amazing card. It works well with the OTK and really just most of the combos in the deck. 2 Garuda, this is kind of a new addition to the deck. It's I can't believe I'm actually saying it, but like the theory of this deck is a theory that I just recently heard of, and it makes perfect sense. You want to run as many Dux equivalents. That feels weird to say, but you want to run as many Dux equivalents as possible. Basically, you want to run as many cards as possible that basically are the same as Dux or act as Dux at any point in the game. That's where Garuda kind of shines. It's a level 4 Winged Beast, Wind, even though the Wind doesn't really matter. Also, you know, to summon it, you need to banish a Wind card or a Wind monster in your graveyard, so it can kind of trigger Tempest that way, or it can trigger Tempest that way, and it just works well with the deck. Obviously, I just said it, Tempest, just search is really, that's really what it's here for. It can act as a beater, but that's not really what it's there for. And 1 Red Eyes, it's a Dragon deck, so why not? As for the spells, 2 Instant Fusion, 2 Cards Consonants, 2 Dragon Shrines, 2 Soul Charge, 3 Upstart Goblin, 1 Gold Sark, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 MSTs, and 1 Book of Moon. These 3 are obvious. Foolish Burial, again, obvious. Most people say, like, oh, it's here for Phalanx, but getting Phalanx to the graveyard isn't exactly the biggest issue. Like, that's why most people are like, oh, Ravine's gone, they can't do anything, they can't get Phalanx. Phalanx to the graveyard isn't an issue. It's really Dux, but never mind. But yeah, whatever you need in the graveyard, Gold Sark searches Tempest really, and if you've already used Tempest, it can be used to search, or yeah, search anything else you really need at the time, usually Dux. 3 Upstart, because why not? 2 Soul Charge, because why not? Instant Fusion, again, like I said with Garuda, you want as many... Well, like I said, like the problem with the deck is searching Dux, so that's kind of where these cards come in. They kind of act as a Dux. So at any point in the game, just pay 1,000, you get your own Dux to the field, or your quote-unquote Dux. Cards Consonants, from Planet Tuners, I mean, you draw power. Dragon Shrine is the theme Foolish Burial, so why not? 1 Bottomless, 3 Reckless, 1 Torrential, 2 Deep Prison, 2 Breakthrough, and 1 Solemn. Solemn, Torrential, Bottomless for obvious reasons. Deep Prison and Breakthrough really for the Shaddoll matchup, because this deck can't really handle Shaddolls like at all. Like, Midrash is a pain in the butt, so that's where these guys kind of shine. And 3 Reckless. I play Reckless in Dark World as well, because it actually makes sense in Dark Worlds, because, you know, just you can continue to draw off of the field spell and stuff. And here I'm still kind of learning how to use it, I guess, because I've never used Reckless before. These are the first 2 decks that I'm actually using it in, or I think they're the first 2 decks anyway. And it's just really weird for me because I don't like giving it my 2 draw phases. If you can resolve 2, I'm all for it, but at times where like you're forced to use Reckless, I'm kind of iffy. But it's worked so far, I guess. As for the extra deck, 2 Maveless, 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Thought Ruler, both Stardusts, 1 Gaidic, 3 Vajrayana, 1 Armades, 1 M7, 1 Strike Bouncer, 1 Atum. These 3 are basically staples. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't play them. Armades, just an amazing level 5. Vajrayana staples. If you don't know what he does, just don't worry about it. It's how you level climb, kind of. Gaidic is basically how you search your winged beasts or your weak dragons or your low dragons just to send something to the graveyard. Stardust for protection reasons. Thought Ruler, honestly, it's really because you pay so much. You pay so much life in this deck. You have the Solemn, you have the 2 Soul Charge, you have 2 Instant Fusion. You're probably not going to resolve all of these cards in one duel. But like, let's say you resolve a Solemn and a Soul Charge for 2, and maybe even like the 1 Instant Fusion. You lost a lot of life points. That's what, 2. That's 5,000 right there. So this guy comes in clutch, just getting back your life points. And yeah, Scrap Dragon for obvious reasons, Crimson Blader for obvious reasons, I guess. And these 2 cards, Blaster and Flameball, I kind of want to put in. Like I said, the guy who said the whole like Dux equivalent theory, he uses these cards. I don't really agree with them completely, but his justification of it is Blaster is a 2800 beater. You can banish Blaster, or you can banish Tempest for Blaster, get the Tempest search off, which, I mean, I guess Garuda is the same thing. You can banish Blaster for Gold Sark and then get Flamevel to I don't know. Like, there were reasons, like, let's say, I guess Tempest, never mind. There are reasons to have these guys, and also Flamevel, besides being a Cards of Consequence target, it does allow you to thin your deck by that 1 extra card with Dragon Giant, so they do have their purposes, but I just don't know if I agree with them yet. I haven't tested them out yet, so I will, just say that when I get around testing it, maybe they'll have their spot. Next up, the X-Saber deck. 1 Redox, 2 Foul Troll, 3 Bolgart Knight, 1 Fullhelm Knight, 3 Emmer's Blade, 3 Dark Soul, 3 Pashul, 1 Raggy Gura, 1 Rhoda, 2 Soul Charge, 3 Upstart, 1 Book of Moon, 3 Tenki, 2 Reinforced Truth, 1 Godham's Emergency Call, 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, 3 Trap Stun, 2 Breakthrough, 1 Compulse, 1 Saber Hole, 1 Solemn Warning. And to be completely honest with you guys, the reason that I picked this deck up is because, well, I used to play X-Sabers actually, and that's probably the reason that I wanted to play it originally, but I built the deck and it just kind of sat in this deck edit for the longest time. But then I found out that there's like a 3 or 4 card like Godham's combo that just completely destroys your opponent's hand, and that was kind of in the random replays, and that's why I wanted to play the deck. It's simple as that. And since learning about that like 3-4 card combo or whatever it is, I've since like seen 2 decks that are able to make Godhams and just completely destroy your opponent's hand, or at least 5 cards, and like that just makes everything so much easier. So I think I'm like, as soon as this deck profile is over, I'm probably gonna get rid of this deck. I mean, the deck is fun if you know how to use it. If you want to learn, I'll probably leave a link down below, because I don't do the deck justice. I just treat it as like a Godham's call, or a Godham's machiner, I guess. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in X-Sabers, I mean, here's the deck that I was running. I don't think it's that bad. It's similar to the deck that I ran when I actually tried to use X-Sabers for competitive reasons, or not competitive, but like Dev Pro. Anyway, when I was actually trying to learn X-Sabers, when I was trying to become okay with the deck, I guess, this is pretty similar to the build that I use. I think it's an okay build, but recently its purpose has become get Godhams on the field, abuse the hell out of your opponent's hand, and just go from there. Is it degenerate? Pretty much, but I am kind of okay with that because I'm tired of certain decks running around. And yeah, is it mature? Probably not, but it's how I've decided to handle it. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. And last up, we have Dark Worlds. We have 3 Grapha, 2 Malefic Stardust, 1 Celt, 1 Gold, 3 Snow, 1 Beige, 1 Trance, 3 Brow, 2 Tour Guide, and 1 Ceruli. Not too much to say. I'm running the Malefic Stardust because it can protect Dark World, the gates, I guess, and also to trade and target. Running Celt just because I think he's a cool card. If you get the whole Ceruli thing going, it's pretty nice. I'm running Gold as opposed to Silva because of his effect if he's discarded by an opponent's monster. I'll explain how that works in a second. But yeah, Gold is you can destroy up to 2 cards your opponent controls, or you can target them, and then when it's summoned, you can destroy the 2 cards. Silva is you have to send 2 cards from your opponent's hand to the bottom of their deck. So let's say they only have one card in their hand, you can't do anything to that. So I know that might not seem like a big deal, but I guess, or I didn't say it, but a friend pointed that out to me. It's like, you know what? I don't want to have that come up. I'd rather have Gold's effect available to me. Like I said, I prefer his like discard effect by your opponent's card, and this is how it works, or this is the card that makes it work. If you can discard Ceruli, it'll special summon itself to your opponent's side of the field, and since it was special summoned by itself, by a Dark World card, your opponent, the opponent of this card's controller, I guess I don't really know how to describe it or explain it, But since it's on your opponent's field, this card will activate, and you are the opponent of Ceruli, I guess, at that point. I don't really know how to describe that, but long story short, you're the one who has to discard a card, and since it counts as your opponent's monster at that point, all the Dark World monsters get their secondary effects, which are pretty stupid. So being able to like discard a Celt, you get to special summon something out of your deck. Being able to discard a Grapha, you get to destroy something, then you get to look at one random card at your opponent's one random card in your opponent's hand. And if it's a monster, you can special summon it. Snow is basically like a monster reborn. You get 2 draws off of Brow, so it's really just, I like it. Situational, yes, you do need 3 cards to make it work. You know, you do need Ceruli, you need a discard outlet, and you do need a target that you actually want to use Ceruli with, but I think it's worth it. For the spells, 3 drag down, 2 trade in, 3 upstart, 3 Dark World dealings, 1 foolish, 1 Book of Moon, 1 mass change second, and 3 gates. All pretty standard, I guess. I just wanted a mass change second because everything here is dark, and Dark Law hurts a lot of decks, so I don't see why not, you know, give it a try. Real quick, you don't get the effect of the Dark World monster, but when you discard for cost for second, or for the mass change second, because it is a cost, not an actual effect. So keep that in mind. For the traps, we have both viruses and triple reckless. Not too much to say, I guess. For the extra deck, doesn't really matter. Mass Hero Dark Law, 2 Stardust for the Malefic Stardust. 1 number 22 Zalmenstein, 1 Heliopolis, 2 Felgran, 1 Alcé, 1 Gimmick Puppet Grinder, 1 Honor Arc, 1 Castel, 1 Alucard, 2 Levier, and 1 Zenmaines. I mean, not too much to say. You don't even necessarily need your extra deck. I make Felgran a decent amount. I make not Alcé. I make Heliopolis a decent amount of times. Sorry about that. Because, you know, you do have Graph, which is fairly easy to get onto the field. You do have the Stardust, which is, again, fairly easy to get onto the field. So yeah, rank 8s are pretty easy to make. As for these are just cards that I was thinking about when I was putting the deck together. Yeah, not too much to say, actually. So yeah, that's been the deck profile, or deck profiles, I guess, of these three decks. Yeah, hopefully you guys are interested in at least one of these decks and now have a foundation. Like, I'm not saying any of these decks are like the best they could be, because Dark Worlds I've never played. I literally just picked them up, I want to say Thursday or Friday of last. No, I've only had this deck for a few days. What I'm trying to say. The Dragunity deck, I like it. I've been through a Heretic engine, I've been through a Malicious engine, and I haven't tested this deck enough to say that it's my favorite engine. I did like the Heretic engine. It was able to do some pretty stupid things, but the Dragunity deck, as of right now, I think is pretty solid. The Dark World deck, I don't play Dark World, so I can't tell you. And as for the X-Saber deck, again, I can't really tell you. I just use it as a Goblin's machine after a while. So that's been the deck profiles, I guess. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, or hopefully you guys are now at least interested in one of these decks. If you want to see these decks in action, there'll be a link down below to the random replays. It's just one duel with each deck. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Later, guys.